Welcome back to the second half of the show. It's time for Meet You Up. In this segment, we are about to have an interview session with the artist that we always wanted to meet up in the studio. And tonight's guest is quite special. I've known him for quite some time, but we haven't been keeping in touch to each other for a long time. So it's really good to have him back in my friend zone. It's London of Stray. Welcome to the studio. 오늘 나오신 분이죠. 음색이 정말로 매력적인 아티스트입니다. 듣는 이들의 마음을 어루만지는 감성적인 보컬. 스트레이의 런던 오랜만이에요.
안녕하세요, 런던입니다.
Hello everyone from London. Anyway, it's your first time on this show. Please, how do you feel about being inside the studio with me? 처음이신데 이 방송이 어떤 기분이신지 간단한 소감 좀 부탁드려도 괜찮을까요?
일단 편하네요. 네, 오랜만에 나왔지만은. 네.
Are you sure you're comfortable? 정말로 편하신 건가요?
그럼요. 방송공포증이 있어가지고.
네. So he is a little afraid of being on the shows, all sorts of included, radio to TVs. Anyway, from what I know, Stray consists of 2 members total, and the other member, Jack, did not come through the show today. How'd that happen? 제가 알기로 2인조인데 잭 씨가 오늘 안 오셨죠?
네.
어떤 이유인지 좀 여쭤봐도 괜찮을까요?
몸이 좀 안 좋아가지고 좀 그 수술을 해서 오늘 못 나오게 됐어요.
Oh my god. So he had to go through a big surgery recently and he's not feeling well still. So that is the reason why he couldn't come through this show. So let us root for his well-being in the future. Hope he gets better. And what does he do in the group? 잭 씨는 그룹에서 어떤 역할을 담당하시는지요?
작곡이랑 이제 편곡 해주고 있어요, 형이.
Okay.
같이.
He's in charge of composition and arranging of every songs from the group. And how about you? How would you describe yourself to be in the group? 본인은 어떤 역할을 담당하고 계시고 어떻게 본인을 소개하실지?
네, 저는 작사, 작곡과 보컬을 맡고 있습니다.
Yes, I'm in charge of writing lyric and writing the song as well as performing as lead vocalist. Anyway, how did you guys end up naming this band, Stray? 처음에 Stray라는 이름은 어디서 가져오신 걸까요?
이게 원래 저희가 5인조였는데
네.
그때 제가 없었어요.
오케이.
저도 오디션 보고 들어왔어가지고
나중에 조인한 거구나.
네. 네, 음원 내기 전에 이제 그때 오디션 봐가지고 들어가서 그렇게 같이 음원을 내게 된 건데 그때 이제 기타애가 지은 이름인 걸로 알고 있어요, 저는.
네. 그래서 본인은 잘 모르신다.
그쵸. 방황하다, 방랑자 이런 뜻이라고 하는데 저는 그냥
Okay. Anyway, according to him, since he was not a day one member of this group, so this band was originally a 5-piece band, but now it's down to 2-piece group. So he joined the group later, and he had to take an audition to join this one. And later, he learned the meaning of this group. Stray is what the word means. It's literally stray. That's how they got the name in the first place. And what kind of music do you guys do in this band? 어떤 음악을 하시나요?
네, 저희는 팝발라드를 지금 하고 있습니다.
팝발라드.
네네네.
네. 팝발라드가 뭘까요?
자칭인데요. 이제 전통 한국 발라드라기보다는 조금 팝이 가미된 그런 발라드라고 보시면 될 것 같아요.
Okay, so I asked him to describe your music, and he said, well, our music is based on pop ballad genre, and they are self-claimed pop ballad genre. What is that means it's a combination of Korean traditional style of ballad and the little bit of pop element from the western side being involved in their music. Interesting. 그러면 음악을 만드실 때 영감은 보통 어디서 얻으시는지 궁금해요. Where do you get your inspirations from?
그 가사 같은 경우는 이제 저의 얘기들로 이제 기반으로 많이 쓰고요. 네. 멜로디나 작곡 같은 경우는 그냥 만듭니다, 그냥.
Okay, of course. Lyric-wise, I get the ideas from my own thoughts or my own experiences, and the melody and all other things related to composition, they just comes naturally. Well, that sounds you made it sound like it's an easy process, but in fact, it's not. So, were there any time you struggled while you're working on a song? 방금 말씀하시기로는 되게 작사, 작곡 그냥 편안하게 할 수 있어요 같이 되게 겸손하게 말씀해 주셨는데 근데 따지고 보면 이게 되게 어려운 과정이잖아요. 힘드셨던 적은 없는지?
지금 이게 겸손이 아니라고 생각해요. 이렇게 말할 수 있는 게
오.
이제 겸손이 아니라고
네.
생각하고
네.
뭔가 많이 쌓이다 보니까 이제 쉽게 잘 나오는 것 같은데
오.
힘들었던 점은 그냥 이제 지금도 힘들어요 사실. 좋은 곡을 모든 아티스트한테 숙제 같은 건데
아, 맞아요.
좋은 곡을 써야 하는데 그게 잘 안 나올 때마다 계속 힘들죠 뭐.
Ah,
네, 네.
okay. So he wasn't trying to sound humble at all. It's all a result of the know-hows accumulated over the years. Hence, he's now able to write melodies, decent ones. But what's hard for him is come up with an actual really good music, which is like a homework for all the musicians, both domestically and internationally. Anyway, 자 그러면 작업하다가 안 풀리면 어떤 걸 하면서 해소를 하시나요? How do you relieve your stress then?
그냥 안 합니다. 해소를 한다기보다는 그냥 안 해요. 안 나오면은 빠른 포기하고 뭐 또 느낌이 오면 하는 거고.
Oh,
네.
okay. So interesting resolution right there is whenever he faces stress that's pressuring him, he doesn't try to overcome it or relieve it. He just let it go by quitting all those things that he's been doing. 자, 그러면 멈추고 무엇을 하세요? 관두시고.
뭐 게임을 하거나
Okay.
TV를 보거나
Okay.
뭐 먹을 걸 먹거나.
Okay, so I asked him additional question. Then what do you do? There must be something you do after you've given up on something you've been doing. And he said, well, I eat and I play game and all sorts of other things is what he said. But let's speak a little bit about food. Since we're all huge foodies here, including the listeners here. We mainly talk about food. So what kind of food do you like the most? 어떤 음식을 좋아하시나요?
요새는 라멘. 네.
그거 좋죠. 라멘도 좋고. 그리고
딱히 생각을 안 해봤네요. 그 이상으로.
오케이.
많이 라멘을 요새 많이 먹는 편이라서.
오케이.
마라탕, 라멘 이런
오케이.
것들.
So he's fond of malatang or ramen, the Japanese traditional ones. And the thing is, he hasn't really thought about what was his favorite food. Maybe that proves how busy his life was as a musician. That's really admirable. Anyway, it's time for us to speak about this OST that you participated in the making, 기다리는 사람, from the drama 연인, which received a lot of love. How did you come to sing this song? 이제 최근에 너무 사랑을 많이 받은 드라마 연인의 OST, 기다리는 사람에 대한 얘기를 좀 해보려고 하는데요.
네네.
어떻게 참여하게 되셨나요?
이거 좀 자세하게 말해야 하나요?
자세하게? 자세한데
그냥,
뭔가
네.
재밌을 것 같아요.
별거 없어요.
네.
사실 저희랑 파트너십으로 같이 하시는 분이 좀 이렇게 조인해가지고 이렇게 연결해줬어요. 약간. 네. 그래가지고 이거 불러줄 수 있냐 해가지고 알겠습니다 하고 불렀어요.
Oh, okay. So according to him, there's his business partner alongside him being a musician. This other guy takes care of the business side, and he just hooked him up to this project of this drama, and that's how he got involved. 자, 그러면 OST를 참여를 한다는 건 사실
네.
감정이입이 되게 중요하잖아요. 그 드라마를 대변해야 되기 때문에.
네네.
드라마를 보신 적이 있으십니까?
그쵸. 애들이 이제 문자가 와요.
오케이.
그러면은
네.
엄마들한테도 문자가 오고
네.
막 이래요. 친구들 엄마들한테. 그러면 이제 그 화에 나왔다 하면은 그 화를 챙겨보죠 이제.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to participating in an OST track for drama, it is absolutely crucial to take a look at the drama to capture the overall emotion that it's trying to convey to perform this OST track properly. So I asked him, did you watch the drama? And he said, well, of course I did. Whenever I receive messages from my friends or my families that with they saying like, oh, your song is being played on this episode, that's when he take a watch of that drama. 자, 그러면 드라마를 보시다가 기억에 남는 장면 같은 게 있으신지가 궁금해요. Were there any memorable scenes after watching that drama?
그 화살 맞아주는 거?
So there was this scene, a guy takes an arrow on behalf of this other person inside that drama. Turned out to be the most memorable scene from that drama for him. 자, 그러면 참여를 하셔가지고 어떤 소감 같은 건 없나요?
너무 영광이고요.
Anything you
네네.
felt after participating to the drama was the question I asked him, and he said, first off, I am very honored, and
너무 영광이고 참여하게 돼서 기쁘고요. 네.
자, 그러면 드라마 하면 또 참여하고 싶은 류의 드라마들이 있잖아요, 사실.
그쵸?
어떤 드라마가 또 참여하고 싶은 게 있을까요?
저희 음악에 그래도 잘 어울릴 수 있는 드라마였으면 좋겠는데 좀 스릴러 이런 것도 해보고 싶고 네. 영화 OST 이런 거 해보고 싶어요. 약간.
아, 그거 정말 엔드게임이죠. 영화라. 어떤 영화요?
최민식 씨 나오는 영화 정도.
Okay. 잘 어울리겠다 뭔가. Anyway, so I asked him, is there another type of OST you would like to participate in the future, and what kind of drama would you like to be featured on? And he said, well, I think as long as it's something to do with the thriller genre, we're open to it. And if I get an opportunity to participate in one, I would like to get my name featured for one of the movies that Choi Min-sik is being part of. Anyway, now let us move on to the next phase. So you recently released a new single called 존재, Existence, I believe that's the English name. So please introduce this album for us. 자, 새로운 앨범 존재에 대한 소개 부탁드리겠습니다.
네. 그 항상 곡 소개를 해달라고 하면은 참 할 말이
많이 없죠?
많이 없어지는데 항상 그 소개를 쓰잖아요. 쓰면서 이제 거기다가 시 한 줄을 쓰려고 노력을 하는데 존재 같은 경우는 뭐 이제 이별 노래를 대부분 쓰지만은 이거는 이제 좀 자기 자신한테 쓴 얘기거든요. 약간 저 같은 경우는 좀 힘들면은 저를 망가뜨리는 스타일인데 이제 나를 아껴줘라. 나는 이제 세상에 하나밖에 없는 존재다. 뭐 이런 의미로 쓴 곡이에요. 약간 이제 나를 아껴줘라.
Okay, so long story short, this song conveys the message, don't take it too hard on yourself, but try to love yourself more from now on. It's basically a letter to himself. So, about this song. 자, 그러면 이야기도 했는데 앨범 커버 같은 경우는 누가 작업을 한 건지가 또 궁금해지더라고요. Who worked on the cover art of this song?
저희가 커버를 사실 그렇게 막 딱 누구를 쓴다 이런 거보다는 저희도 찾아요. 그 이제 인 별땡 뭐 거의 들어가지고 앨범에 그 노래랑 어울릴만하고 이쁜 거를 찾아가지고 그쪽에 연락을 합니다. 작가한테. 그래가지고 뭐 이렇게 페이를 지불하고 써도 되겠냐 이렇게 물어보고 네, 그런 식으로 해요 저희는.
Interesting. So it's not like they have this all-time ready artist ready to draw for them to be used for their cover art, but they constantly look for new artists to collaborate with. So for instance, they got this one through while they were searching through Instagram and paid a certain amount of money and then got it in return. Anyway, is there any meaning behind that cover art? 그러면 의미 같은 건 또 있나요? 커버 아트? 그냥 잘 맞을 것 같으면 가져오시는 느낌.
이쁘고 좀 튀고 곡에 맞을 것 같다. 이런 거.
Okay, so the cover art was it does not contain any sort of meaning to it, but he chose it because he felt like it's gonna go well along with the song. 자, 그러면 녹음하실 때 얘기를 좀 해볼게요. 녹음에 신경을 좀 많이 쓴다는 느낌을 받거든요.
네네네네.
녹음하실 때 내가 이런 걸 신경 쓴다 하는 게 있을까요? Is there like something you take care of particularly when you are working on a song or recording a song?
녹음을 거의 완벽하게 뜨려고 노력을 하는 편이에요. 근데 그 예전에 저를 아셨을 때보다는 많이 덜 하는 편이에요 지금은.
그때는 확실히 좀 강박적인 느낌이 있었죠.
그때는 완전 강박이 너무 심해가지고 보통 한 곡에 최소 10시간? 이래 녹음했던 것 같은데
괜히 목이 안 좋아지는 게 아니네. 그럼
거의 안 쉬어요 녹음할 때 제가.
와.
근데 요새는 6시간 안팎으로 하려고 해요 그래도.
Okay, so since he is less of a perfectionist compared to how he was back in the days, but he's still one, and he takes a long time to record just one song, and nowadays it takes about 6 hours to finish up a song just recording phase-wise. And back in the days, it was even more crazier because he normally took more than 10 hours to record one song. 자, 그러면 이 노래에서 이 부분 내가 잘했다 하는 게 있을까요? Is there anything, any part from the song you want to highlight?
사실 이 노래는 좀 목 상태 안 좋은 상태로 녹음을 떴어가지고 사실 전체적으로 마음에 들진 않아요 이게. 그리고 그 톤이나 이것도 그 피치 이것도 저한테 조금 제가 썼지만은 안 맞더라고요 저한테 좀 뭔가 느낌이 좀 많이 죽는 것 같아가지고 더 키를 올려서 녹음했어야 했나 하기에는 또 귀가 피곤한 거거든요. 그래서 딱히 어디가 좋다고 말을 못하겠어요. 그냥
완전히 솔직한 답변 감사합니다. That was a really honest answer. I loved it, by the way. So the thing is about this one, since he wasn't precisely in a good condition when recording this song, he overall is not precisely fond of the performance side of the song. So there was this one time he kind of wanted to tune up the entire track to match his vocal range, but he thought it's going to be a little too stingy to listen to, so he kept it by the original version, but performance-wise, he wasn't satisfied at all. Anyway, let's speak briefly about the music video. 존재 뮤직비디오도 있잖아요.
네네네.
여러 가지 장면을 되게 약간 이어붙여 놓은 것 같은데 스토리라인 같은 게 있나요?
사실 저희는 음악만 만들고
Okay. Okay. Perfect answer right there. So I asked him about the overall storyline of the music video, and he said, well, us as musicians, all we take care about is music, and we let other people who's professional to work on the rest of this stuff. So music video wise, I got nothing much to talk about it. Anyway, time for us to have a listen to this song, 존재, right now. And since he is not in a really good condition right now because of his vocal cord nodules, we couldn't request him to do the live performance for us. But at least we get to take a listen to the recorded version. Hope you guys enjoy. This is 존재 by The Stray. Welcome back. So, is there an English name for this song? Is the question I wanted to ask you. 이 노래가 영어 제목이 따로 있나요? 왜냐면 지금 보고 계시는 분들이 찾아보려고 하는데 다른 거랑 겹쳐져가지고 검색이 안 되는 경우가 발생하고 있네요.
좀 찾아봐야 하는데.
Okay. So he's gonna search the English name for this song and let you guys know by the next phase of this show. So let us look forward to that. And since we spoke briefly about his musical journey, we now are gonna move on to this next part, word card interview, and get to know more about his personal side from now on. All he's got to do is fill in the blank. 자, 빈칸만 채워주시면 되는 아주 간단한 겁니다. 자, 한 문장 한 문장씩 갈 거고요. 카메라에 답변을 하나씩 이렇게 보여주시면 되세요.
예.
First off, these days my favorite song is blah blah. 요즘 내가 가장 좋아하는 노래는 blah blah이다. 하나, 둘, 셋.
Yes.
Le Seraphim with Perfect Night. 오케이, 이따가 돌아오겠습니다.
네.
Question number 2. Among the comments I've seen so far, the phrase that has had the most impact on me is blah blah. 내가 봤던 댓글 중에 가장 힘이 됐던 말은 blah blah이다. 하나, 둘, 셋. So he knows how to utilize his emotion. We're gonna come back to it. 다음 걸로 돌아올게요. The best part of the lyrics I wrote is blah blah. 내가 쓴 가사 중에 가장 좋은 부분은 blah blah이다. Okay, no matter how hard you try to paint something, you cannot quite paint it. 자, 그럼 돌아오겠습니다. If I could go back to the January of last year, 2023, and relive it, I would change blah blah. 작년 2023년의 1월로 돌아가서 다시 산다면 blah blah를 바꾸고 싶다. He would like to change the number of the lottery ticket he bought that year. 자, 다음 걸로 가겠습니다. Although we couldn't be together today, the message I really want to convey to Stray member Jack is blah blah. 오늘 함께 못했지만 Stray member Jack에게 하고 싶은 말은 I hope you get healthy in the future. That's so nice of you. We're going to move on to the next one. If I could live in another country for a month, the place I would definitely want to visit is blah blah. 만약 한 달 동안 다른 나라 가서 살겠다면 어디로 갈까요? Japan. Okay. 자, 이따가 또 돌아오겠습니다. The happiest moment in London's life was blah blah. 런던이 살면서 제일 행복했던 순간은 2022. Now, that's what I call an interesting answer. We're going to come back to it later. To the fans who love my music, I want to say blah blah. 내 노래를 좋아하는 팬들에게 blah blah라고 말할 겁니다.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. In 3 different ways. So, 감사합니다 is a formal way of expressing someone's gratitude. 고맙습니다, less formal one, and the last one was literally thank you in Korean. Anyway, going back to question number 1. These days my favorite song is Le Seraphim with Perfect Night. Perfect Night를 좋아하신다고 하시는데요.
네.
한 소절 부탁드릴 수 없죠, 지금 맞아. 부탁드릴 수 없어. 아니에요. 지금 하면 안 돼요. 지금 목 상태가 안 좋기 때문에.
감사합니다.
그러면 그 노래에 뭐가 그렇게 좋으신지? What part of or what aspect of that song do you like?
멜로디가 너무 좋아요. 약간 들으면은 노래가 딱 꽂히는 것들이 있는데 요새 아이돌 노래들은 진짜 너무 좋아가지고 웬만해서는
확실히.
1위 하는 이유가 있는 것 같아요. 약간 들으면은.
Okay, so he happened to fall in love with the melody line of this song, and since most of the idol group songs these days are so good, he admit there's a reason why they're hitting number one on every single music charts domestically and internationally. And moving on to this next one, among the comments I've seen so far, the phrase that had most impact on me was 두 번째 거의 정답이 뭐였죠? 써주신 게?
감정을 잘 쓴다.
He utilizes his emotion really well. 자, 얼핏 보면 감정이 있는 사람일까 하는 생각이 들게끔 만드는 면도 있어요.
그런가요?
근데 본인이 감정적이신 편인가요? Do you consider yourself to be an emotional person?
그럼요. 완전 감정적입니다.
그래요?
F.
어떨 때 감정적이신가요?
뭐 매사에?
Okay, I asked him additional question. When do you get emotional? And he said, well, pretty much every day, every time.
감정적이다기보다는 감성적이죠. 네.
He should be referred to as sentimental than being emotional, he corrected. And moving on to this next one from the best part of the lyric I wrote is, no matter how hard you try to paint, you just can't get the work done. Well, that's a little bit off-topic translation I did, but that's what he wrote in Korean, by the way. 칠해도 칠해지지 않는.
네네.
왜죠?
이게 원래 사실은 제가 들은 소리예요. 제가.
아하.
그 예전에 잠깐 만났던 친구가 당신은 칠해도 칠해지지가 않는다는 거예요. 그러니까 자기가 뭐 어떻게 하고 막 이렇게 말을 하고 뭘 해도 자기 마음대로 안 되는 거죠.
굉장히 아티스틱한 분을 만나셨던 것 같아요.
아니었던 것 같은데.
So this is actually an interesting experience from his past. So he actually heard this phrase, no matter how hard I try to work on something, you just can't get the work done, by one of his exes from the past. So what the ex of his literally said was, no matter how I try to like talk you through something, you just can't be changed is what he heard. So it's the kind of phrase that contains a sad story. And the third one, if I could go back to the January of last year, 2023, I would change the number of my lottery ticket. 로또의 티켓을 바꾸겠다, 번호를 바꾸겠다 하셨는데
누구의 모든 사람의 꿈이지 않을까 싶습니다. 네.
근데 사실 제가 복권이라는 걸 사본 적이 많지가 않아가지고 한두 번 사봤나 이러는데
저도 두 번밖에 안 사봤어요.
근데 그거 될 것 같잖아요.
저는 5,000원이 됐어요. 또 처음 샀을 때.
아 진짜?
네, 살면서 처음 사봤는데 작년에 딱 5,000원이 되더라고요.
Oh, okay. So he got lucky after buying his first ever lottery ticket for winning $5 total. And I thought he wanted to test his luck by buying the next one, which obviously did not get a winner ticket. And let me ask you an additional question. What would you do if you win number one on the lottery ticket? 1등 한다면 뭐를 사고 싶어요? 아니면 뭐를 하고 싶어요? What would you buy or what would you do with that amount of money?
집부터 사야죠, 집.
Of course, buying a house and
차 사야죠, 또.
of course, buy another car. And 아니 근데 지금도 괜찮아. 엄청나게 모두가 열망하는 차를 가지고 계세요, 사실.
더 좋은 거 타야죠.
Okay, so what I just said is he drives in one of those really nice cars that a lot of people admires, and you're not satisfied with that. And he said, well, I gotta get a better one in the future after buying a house, of course. Anyway, moving on to this next one. 잭씨에게는 빨리 건강히 나아져라. 이거는 좋은 말인 것 같으니까 굳이 더 얘기 안 하고 스킵을 하도록 할게요. 네네. 자, 다른 나라에서 살 수 있다면 꼭 가서 살고 싶은 곳은 일본이라고 하셨어요. If I could live in another country for a month, I would definitely visit Japan, is what you said. So, why Japan? 왜 일본인가요?
아까도 음식이 나왔듯이 저는 라멘을 너무 좋아해가지고 꼭 가보고 싶어요. 아직 해외 한 번도 안 가봤거든요.
그래요?
갈 수가 지금 없어서 동물이 3마리 있어가지고 가기가 조금 애매합니다 지금.
So the reason why he want to become Japan is since he's a huge fan of Japanese food is the main reason for visiting that country, and he's actually never visited a foreign country in his life since he had to take care of 3 pets in total. 그러면 애완동물은 어떤 거 키우시나요?
고양이 2마리랑 강아지 1마리.
Okay, so I asked him what kind of pet do you have in your home, and he said 2 cats and a dog. And 종류보다도 사실 어떤 자랑하고 싶으신 게 있나요? Is there anything you want to brag about them?
그냥 귀엽다.
Oh, okay. Nothing else but they're cute, is what he just said. And moving on to this next one. The happiest moment in London's life was blah blah. 런던이 살면서 가장 행복했던 순간은 blah blah라고 하셨는데요.
2022년인데요.
Why 2022 though?
다 이게 돈으로 가서 좀 그러긴 한데 이 돈을 제일 많이 벌었습니다. 이 연도에.
Well, it's too bad I have to conclude every sentence that's got to do with the financial status, but that's the year that I made the most amount of money that year, so that's why I missed the most. 저 그럼 얼마 버셨는지는 질문을 드리지 않을 거예요.
이따 얘기해요?
아니 말 안 해도 돼. 이런 건 약간 굳이 privacy니까 지켜드릴게요. So I'm not gonna ask him how much money he made that year, but gonna ask him, what did you do with that amount of money you made back then? 그 많은 번 돈으로 어떤 걸 하셨나요? 그게 좀 궁금해요.
집에다가 제가 이사도 했고요.
네.
원래 한 집에서 9년 살았는데 이사도 했고 집 안에다 부스도 넣고 뭐 가전제품도 다 새 거로
그
다 샀고.
비싼 거를 다 했다. 엄청난 그건데요?
네, 완전 다 모든 걸 새 걸로 바꿨습니다.
오, 좋겠다. Anyway, what he did with the amount of money he made at that year was moving to a nicer place, and he decided to make some upgrade to the musical gears he had. For instance, he bought himself a nice recording booth for the place, along with a really nice house utilities. 자, 그러면 그때 이후에 뭔가 새로운 목표들 같은 게 생겼을 것 같아요. 어떤 목표가 그 뒤에 또 생겼는지가 좀 궁금합니다. So after you achieving so much in your life as a musician, I'm pretty sure there must have been a lot of new goals set that year, right? So let us know about those.
그때 잘 됐던 곡들이 있었는데
네.
그만큼의 잘 된 곡을 최소 5개 이상은 만들어내야겠다. 라는 생각이 들지만 쉽지가 않네요.
맞아.
네.
So at that time, there were a couple of songs that was performing really well sales-wise. So one of his goals back then was trying to come up with a song that's equally performing as the previous 2 songs. Anyway, thank you so much for replying to all those questions. That's all we have for now. 자, 지금까지 정답 말씀해 주셔서 너무 감사드리고 이제 노래 한 곡을 더 듣고 올 건데요. 그 해 듣고 올 겁니다. 그 해 어떤 노래인가요? 그때를 그리워하시나요? 2022년을?
사실 기억이 잘 안 나가지고.
Okay, anyway, we're about to have a listen to another song of Stray and come back for more. This is 그 해. Enjoy, guys. Welcome back. So during the song break, we talked briefly about some interesting fact whenever he's working on a new track, but we're gonna save it for later since we received tons of messages from you guys during the previous song breaks, and we intend to cover every single one of them. So starting with this one from Stacy1 says, London, hello and welcome. I am currently watching My Dearest, and the OST you sang really encompassed the emotions I feel while watching this drama. I could feel the main lead emotions of longing and heartbreak as he waited for his love. How did you put those emotions into the song? It is really a beautiful song. Thank you. From Stacy. 자, 드라마를 보시다가 이제 OST를 들으시고 어쩜 이렇게 그 드라마의 장면들과 잘 어울리게 감정을 잘 집어넣었을까 하는 게 이제 질문인데, 자, 어떻게 이런 감정을 이 OST에 담을 수 있었는지가 메인 질문입니다. 그리고 칭찬 한마디와 함께 그건 너무 아름다운 노래.
많은 세월 동안 많은 풍파를 맞다 보니까 이게 감정을 이게 잘 지워두게 된 것 같아요.
Okay, over the years, going through all those ups and downs in lives, I finally somehow like managed to learn those emotions. All right, moving on to the next one from Tassin. What are the top 3 things on your bucket list for 2024? 2024년의 버킷리스트에는 어떤 게 있으실까요?
와, 진짜 생각도 못한 질문이어서 사실 그런 걸 안 만들어 놓거든요. 2024년 지금 만들어 보죠. 뭐 그냥 해외도 꼭 한번 나가 보는 걸로 하고 여행을 좀 많이 다니고 싶어요. 여행을 다니려고 원래 차를 샀는데 지금 여행을 한 번도 못 갔어요. 네.
와, So the interesting answer from is that he's never worked on a bucket list in his entire life. So why not just do it right now is what he said. And he came up with two. Well, this year I would love to visit some foreign countries and travel around. And to travel is the main reason why I bought the car in the first place. But I weren't able to go on traveling. 자, 그러면 해외여행을 간다. 일본 말고 어디 가보고 싶으세요? If you were to travel abroad, which country aside from Japan would you like to visit? Since you already mentioned Japan.
가고 싶은데 너무 많아요. 사실 영국도 가보고 싶고,
Okay.
저기 그리스 이런 데도 가보고 싶고, 유럽 쪽 막 스웨덴 이제 풍경 이쁜 거 좋아해가지고.
Okay, so aside from Japan, of course, England and Greece, and anything to do with nice views is where I really want to visit, foreign country-wise. And domestically, where do you want to go? 국내에서는 어디 가고 싶으세요?
그냥 가까운데.
아니 근데 진짜 궁금하다. 정말 음악밖에 모르는 사람이다, 진짜로.
에? 아닌 것 같은데.
I mean, the fact that he's never been to traveling for himself proves that he's such a diligent musician. That's how busy he is in his life, right? 아니, 너무 바쁘신 거잖아요.
아니요. 안 바빠요.
He said, no, not precisely. I'm busy. 그러면 왜 이렇게 못 가고 계셨던 거예요? 펫도 사실은 가려면 갈 수 있는 것도 있었고 사실은.
국내 여행도요? 같이 갈 사람 있어야 가는 거니까 사실.
Okay. So I need someone else I could go traveling with. That's the main reason why. Okay. Thank you so much for the witty answers. And moving on to the next one from Nazer Timo says, I wanted to hear it live, but I'm so disappointed. Do you have any plans to perform? 라이브를 듣고 싶었는데 못 들어서 아쉬워요.
저도 너무 아쉽습니다, 진짜.
하지만 어쩔 수 없죠. 성대결절이라는 게.
네.
자, 그러면 공연 계획은 있으신가요?
저희가 애매합니다. 그것도 지금 계획 자체가 없어요. 그런 거에 지금. 저희는 지금 뭐 건강상의 문제도 있고 음원 활동만 사실 하고 있었는데.
근데 사실 음원이 너무 잘 된 가수니까.
근데 뭐 행사 같은 거는 불러주시면은 갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
사실 너무 축복인 것 같아요. 왜냐하면 뮤지션들이 대부분 다 그렇듯 저 또한 그래가지고 저 또한 거의 행사로 연명하던 사람이었는데 행사가 일단은 페이백도 크기도 하고 근데 음원만으로도 이렇게 엄청난 성공을 거둘 수 있는 뮤지션이 됐다. 이건 엄청난 업적이라고 생각하거든요.
그렇게까지는 아니라서 사실.
Anyway, so performance-wise, there's nothing set for now due to their health issue, long story short. And I praised them about being so successful just by releasing the music. They're able to continue doing music because most musicians, they have to either throw a lot of concerts or go through a lot of hengsas, aka the live gigs that pays a lot of money for their maintenance and all sorts of other things that has nothing to do with music. But the thing about them is they're able to maintain their existence just by releasing music, which is really an admirable thing about a musician. Anyway, thank you so much for sending in the message, and we're going to move on to this next one from 8. I really like the OST you sang in Yeonin. I'm so glad to meet the person who sang this song here. Is there an actor you thought to yourself, if there was a drama featuring this actor, I would definitely want to sing the OST? Well, 어떤 분이 출연했을 때 이 OST는 꼭 참여하고 싶다. 뭐 이건 아까 얘기했지만 최민식 님이죠?
황정민 씨도 너무 좋아하고 근데 김윤석 씨를 제일 좋아해요. 김윤석 씨.
오케이.
아귀 타짜에. 네, 엄청 좋아해요, 제가.
Okay, so aside from Choi Min-sik, whom he already talked about, he's going to participate as an OST singer as long as there's Hwang Jung-min or Kim Yoon-sik in it. All right, moving on to the next one from Elik Fritz. How do you reconcile when there's a difference of opinion with Jack? Oh, okay. 자, 이거를 갖다 물어본다는 걸 아까 깜빡했는데 사실 팀 하면 싸움 피할 수 없거든요. It's inevitable to get into an argument. Sometimes it's really serious. Sometimes it's quite easy to reconcile. But how do you reconcile? How do you make it up? 어떻게 둘이 좀 싸우고 나면 화해를 하시는지?
아니요, 그 5명일 때도 싸운 적이 거의 없었고 마찰이 거의 없었어요. 한 명이 좀 독재적이면은 그렇게 마찰이 많이 없습니다 원래. 근데 지금 2명 되고 나서는 너무 잘 맞아서 다시 같이 하게 된 거라서 저희는 전혀 마찰이 없어요 지금.
Well, even back when we were a five-piece band, we did not fight between the members. I mean, you don't really need to have to fight as long as you have a solid leader to a group. And even down to a two-piece band, up to nowadays, we don't even fight. 아니, 그러면 어떻게 그렇게 잘 지내시는지 팁 같은 게 있나요? How do you guys get along so well? Share us some tips.
그냥 형은 형의 역할이 있고 저도 저의 역할이 있는데 둘이 서로를 음악 스타일도 성격도 이제 아니까 어떻게 할지를 알기 때문에 그냥 딱딱딱딱 이렇게 되기 때문에 뭔가 트러블이 없어요 사실.
따로 만나서 놀긴 하세요?
놀진 않죠.
진짜?
네, 진짜 일만 합니다 저희는.
Oh, so it turns out they're strictly a business relationship. What they do is to maintain the relationship as a group is to respect each other's boundaries by knowing what kind of things they're capable of and not crossing the line. Interesting. 자, 그러면 아니 평소에 그럼 뭐 하세요 보통? What do you do on a daily basis when you have free time then?
집에 있어요 그냥.
I stay at my place doing
그냥 웬만하면 집에 있고 그냥 게임하고 그냥 아까 말한 그대로 그냥 그리고 작업 있으면 작업하고
오케이.
뭐 이제 술 좋아하니까 이제 친구들이랑 뭐 술 먹으러 가고
친구 있죠?
있겠죠.
너무 다행이다 진짜. Okay, so I was a little worried if he has a thing called friend, and he said, well, I sometimes hang out with my friend at my place and play games or eat some nice things. That's what he already covered previously. Anyway, thank you so much to you for coming through this show. It's time for us to wrap up tonight's show. 마지막 소감 부탁드리겠습니다.
오랜만에 나와서 너무 재밌었고요. 또 오랜만에 봐서 너무 즐거웠어요. 네, 저희도 너무 오랜만에 보니까 너무 반가워가지고 어떻게 살고 있는지는 뭐 서로 보고 있었지만, 네. 여튼 뭐 너무 즐거웠고 또 기회가 되면은 봤으면 좋겠어요.
다음번에 완전체로 부탁드릴게요. 재밌을 것 같아요. 그것도.
좋죠.
Anyway, good to see me back after a long period of time and good to be back on radio show. It's been a while and if they ever get a chance to visit us in the future, they're going to come back in a full form with Jack. Thank you so much for coming through. We're going to play one last song and call it a day. This is 그 계절에 머물게 Stay in That Season by Stray.